Kino pavasaris. Kovo 18, balandžio 5 dienomis visoje Lietuvoje. Didysis partneris – Ergo draudimo grupė. Informaciniai partneriai – TV3, 15 min, žmonės.
Mūsų karta pirmoji supratusi, kaip iš lėto kenkiame gamtai. Ir vienintelė, žinanti, kad dar yra laiko ją išsaugoti. Apsaugokime mūsų visų ateitį. Ergo.
Geriausius kino pavasario filmus parodys žiūrimiausia televizija TV3. Šeštadieniais 22:40.
Festivalis Kino pavasaris jūsų namuose. Visus filmus žiūrėkite Telia televizijoje jums patogiu metu. Telia. Įdomiau tik gyvenimas.
The laws of physics. The laws of life. Laws connect everything. We think that to be legal advisors, we must live under the same philosophy. Adapting to connect and connecting to adapt.
Hi everyone, Labas. And welcome to the Q&A portion of VALCHENZÐ Forever. I'm very happy to actually have with us the director of the movie, and I would like to basically welcome her on your behalf as well. Welcome, Janna Ji Wonders.
Hello, thank you for inviting me, for screening my film, and for the Q&A that we just have now. I would like to be there in person, but yeah, it is how it is.
I know, and you know, this is the type of film that you want to share with the audience, and you want to be in the same room, I think, with them, to kind of feel and see how they take in the movie.
Yes, and that would be the best, to just feel and talk in person with the people how they experienced the film.
And yet, I mean, you know, I would say that at the same time, because I've seen the movie about 3 times at home, you know, due to circumstances. But it also works as a very intimate. I mean, it really kind of does enter your domestic space of comfort, and you get pulled into the film immediately. So I would kind of say that as a very kind of positive, optimistic sign for experiencing it at home.
So that it is working at home too, the film?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, wow. Really, yeah. Janna, okay, so I mean, to begin, just a brief introduction. VALCHENZÐ Forever premiered almost a year ago, with a couple of weeks, at the Berlin International Film Festival, where it won the main award in the Perspektive Deutsches Kino section. Yeah. It also won Best Film at Biograph, and it won the Golden Alexander for newcomers competition in Thessaloniki. Because this is, after all, your debut in feature filmmaking, and I would just like to congratulate you for that. It's incredible.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a hard work to go, also emotionally, for me to do such a film about like family, and I was afraid also what it does with me as a daughter, as a granddaughter, and as a human. Yeah, what it makes emotionally, also in the relationship with my mother. So I'm very happy that the film is now finished and in the world, and that also my mom is. Yeah, that she likes the film, and that she's happy that she went through the whole process of doing the film. And yeah, thank you.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this film, because there are so many things to talk about. It's such a rich film, while at the same time it's a very simple portrait of a family, you know. But it's really densely layered. So I will begin actually with the beginning of the film, because I found it really striking, and I watched it last night again, and it is a filmed segment of you as a kid. But I think that whole sequence encapsulates everything that the film is about. which is this transference of family trauma. At the same time, there's a certain spiritual awareness that exists in you as a child, which you express. And quite stylistically, it's also the method through which you will begin engaging throughout the film with your family members, with your characters. The switching of the position of the interviewer interviewee. For me, that almost seemed like the scene that almost defined or perhaps motivated you to begin this journey of making this movie.
Yeah, it's good that you see it that way, because it was always this scene for my editor and me that was clear for us that this has to be in the beginning, the conversation between me and my mom when I was like 5 years old. And that was always the first introduction or scene for the movie. And because, as you say, there's so much in it, in the conversation, that I'm already talking as a 5-year-old about Frauke, and it tells about the trauma that's been passed on to me. So and I also see that I started the film kind of when I was 5 years old, because I didn't know it back then, but it's like the start for me when I started the film, because I always wanted to take my mom's video camera. She interviewed me and asked me questions, but I wanted to be behind the camera and ask her questions. And that's the whole film is like picking up this playful question and answers between the two of us. And it was very hard to get back to this intimacy we had when I was a child, because so much happened, and we had to get back into this moment of and it took a lot of conversations between my mom and myself to really get into it again. Yeah.
I want to ask, because this is not a film about anybody else. This is a film about your own family, and from what we see, you were surrounded. I mean, you lived and you had access, and the archives that documented your family were either living or they were present all around you in multiple forms, be they in letters, photographs, film. The first question I think all of us are thinking is, how difficult was it for you to really, pull yourself away from this in a sense and see it from a distance and try to make sense of it all? But rather, I would like to first ask, when did you actually feel like you had to make a movie about it? And then we can talk about how.
Yeah. After I finished film school in Munich, that I felt I'm ready to do this film, and that I really want to tell the story, because my grandmother already turned 104, and I said to myself, if I don't do it now, I will never do it, because the time is running and she's already 104 if I want her to be part of the movie. And that was after film school, because I knew it would be a big challenge emotionally, and I was kind of sometimes hesitant to really pick up the project, and then I decided to do it after film school.
And how difficult or how easy, or was it just simply a way of kind of methodically working through the film to watch it also, because as a filmmaker you also need to step back a bit from your subject and try to view it through through other eyes? Can you talk a bit about?
Yeah. At first I was really overwhelmed from all the archive footage that I found in the attic of the cafe. It was so much material, and I kind of got lost in the mountains of this material. It was all unsorted in shoe boxes, and I first had to digitize all the material and sorted it by year and family names of family members to somehow get like a order or a structure into the whole material before I give it to my editor. And then with my editor, I could step back because her view on everything was, with her, I was able to step back. And I'm very happy that she joined the project because she's amazing and jumped into the project and knew what I wanted to tell without that we had too much conversations, but it was a search for us. And with her, I was able to distance myself and see the family members also as protagonists in a story. Yeah.
Yeah, really, credit goes to Anja Pohl, correct?
Yeah, Anja Pohl is the editor. Yeah.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. But also because it's, I mean, on one hand, yes, it is, I can imagine it's very difficult to piece it all together, but what's striking is the way it flows together. It's almost like a stream of consciousness, almost spiritual consciousness that, that is in dialogue between generations.
Yes, that's right. That's how I always saw it, like a stream of conscious. We say Gedankenfluss in German. It's yeah, that's how I wanted it and felt it, and I'm so happy that it worked, because it wasn't, you sometimes imagine something and are afraid, oh, how will this go with that, and yeah, it how it came all together. It was the essence, how the story, and that we have to have footage to each year and what we're telling. This is, I thought I had to film more like also other footage with actors, for example, in the psychosis of Frauke, where I'm reading the whole letter about how she feels, how she's in this state of her psychic condition. And I thought I need film more footage myself for that, but I found it all in the archive. Yeah.
So this is what I wanted to ask. Everything that we saw on screen, which pertained to archival material, was taken from your family archives. Is that correct?
Yes, everything except two things. That was San Francisco, the cable car scene, and there was an old musician playing a scyther, or like the instrument, and this is also from a TV station.
Oh, in the cafe, in the tavern.
Yeah. But except everything is either archive footage or footage I had, like on my phone. I had the Super 8 app, and I did for the Frauke's psychosis, where I read the letter, like the moon, or I went into an old church and filmed the tree. I'm driving towards a tree. It was a test, but the test somehow ended up in the film. Yeah.
Like the images of the roadside trees, as she says that everybody will die, which is being taken to the ward.
Yes. That was filmed with my Super 8 app I had on my phone. Yeah.
Incredible.
But the feeling of it, yeah, it's like it matches totally with the Super 8, back in the days.
I mean, one of the obviously added benefits of this project, I'll just talk to something like this, is the fact that your family documented so much, from journals to photographs to films, and I think it says a lot about this kind of, again, transference of documenting, but also of kind of narrativizing. creating stories of one's lived experience. And there's like I found something very beautiful in the way that your grandfather had kind of created, written out a fairy tale about his, his great love, well, meeting your grandmother, and then the photography, which became so so crucial, or kind of like a part of your mother's artistic expression, and then almost like a more contemporary way of documenting, which is cinema, which you clearly had already picked up from when you were a child and you moved on. Do you want to maybe perhaps talk a bit about that, about all this?
Yeah, I mean, the creative, the art or the way to go creative about in your life, that really came from my grandfather. I haven't met him, I don't have a good memory of him. I met him like a couple of times, but he was the one who brought it into the family and to my mom, the photography. But that we kept it. It is amazing also that the family members kept all the letters and notebooks, and that it was all there, but not sorted in a way and well documented, but nothing was thrown away. They kept the past. Maybe I was the one, it was meant to be that I had to take all the pieces and put them all together in a film, but because nobody else was able to, I was the last generation to pick it up. Yeah. But what do you, is there, what was the question? Maybe
There's no question. It just, I wanted you to comment a bit about this kind of, generational transfer of kind of documenting and of kind of searching, because, I think one of the common, or one of the themes of the film for me is, this kind of rooted duty to family, which in some cases could become stifling and almost prison-like, and yet at the same time there's this constant search for liberation, and this spiritual search, and artistic expression, be it in the form of letters or lived experience, much like your mother and Frauke kind of went off into that journey in North America. It just seems kind of to be part of these two tensions. So basically, the artistic expression as the result of these two tensions. And I just wanted perhaps to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah. It was really that Anna had this urge. She was so much. She had to do those pictures. That was like she always had her camera on her, and that was her way of coping with the world outside. That going on a search also. And Frauke was writing a lot. I have all her notebooks, and this is just a little piece in the film. But she wrote so much, and it was so hard for her. She was so hard on herself in her search, her spiritual search. And she wrote down everything she went through, or that she questioned in life, and that was her way of dealing with it, that she wrote down everything. And my grandmother, I mean, she wasn't too much into expressing herself in an art form. She was working in the cafe, but she, I think she let her daughters be free, searching for liberation, because she wasn't able to do it herself. She had to make money with the cafe, and with me she loved to be my protagonist, or I did a lot of pictures. Even when I was a goth, I styled her as a goth, and she was willing to do it. She had fun to express herself, but only if I asked her. She wasn't doing it herself. Yeah.
You can see a lot of a very, very tender bond between you two, especially in the very short scene when you say that dirty limerick, and then the when you say the dirty limerick, the crude poem, or the and then afterwards you say a proper prayer at the table.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, yeah, we had this bond, and I was able to do everything. I was free, but yeah, but she had this also this how to say in English.
This stern force,
Yeah,
or
and force
authority.
and her authority, yes, authority. But I always got away and found her to her heart. It was more like a heart to heart thing between us. Yeah.
I'm just looking at the time. Because there are a lot of things I want to talk to you about. One thing that I definitely don't want to forget is the absence, or the presence, or the present absence, or the absent presence of men in the film, which I found very important. I mean, one of the first lines that really kind of hit home is when your mother and Frauke come home from their trip across the Atlantic, and the answer to the question, so what did you do afterwards? How did you continue, your kind of artistic exploration? And the answer is no, because men came into the picture. And I think throughout the film, and I guess, interpreting, there's men are always these kind of catalysts that exist, in the lives of these generations, but at the same time, they're just they're most points of gravity from which these kind of human planets will then just kind of go off.
Yeah, that's exactly how you say it. Yeah, that's also how I experience it. That's why the men are so absent also in the film, because that's how I grew up, and how I experienced it. Just as you said, it's like they are there, but they are then also gone, and I'm there because my mom met my father, but then yeah, it triggers her to go somewhere else. She's so caught also in this trauma that she lost Frauke, and the burden with the cafe here, and it's that she can't settle herself and be with a man, or the only man that was important was kind of Rainer Langhans, for the search, for the spiritual search, and to to find something within, which she struggled. She had to go all through the darkness. She says it's called shadow work. They say shadow work because they had to fight also their demons and the darkness inside oneself. And yeah, so the men are absent because they were absent in my upbringing, so, and the women were so strong in my life. So that's how I also put it in the film. Yeah, and they're just catalysts that bring them a step further. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to even go further into that. I think we're gonna have time just for one more question. I mean, just quickly, just to go back to this, what I found very striking also with the film is the sound design, because it's very difficult to make archives kind of come to life on film in documentary. Um, and there's this kind of otherworldly quality to the movie that you've created, not just through the editing because it flows so well together. Um, but I think there's something also intrinsic into the content of the archives, and by this I want to refer a bit about this kind of uh, again, I don't want to talk into binaries, but on one hand there's the fairy tale quality to the film, to each kind of past memory that you describe, which also has a very dark or a darker side that is more entrenched into the real. And you start this off right at the beginning of the film when you read out your grandfather's letter, which I believe even your mother says it, or I believe perhaps you say that it is, it reads like a fairy tale, and yet the reality was uh, a lot, a lot more overcast, let's say. Um, do you want to talk a bit about, because there's always, or rather it could be very easy to kind of fall into the trapping of creating this kind of idyllic or fantastical reworking of archives and memory, or adhering just to a very kind of real, gritty, or not gritty, but very kind of raw tone. Um,
Yeah, with this letter, for example, I just want to tell, yeah, it was amazing to find, I found this letter that was really written as a fairy tale. It had 3 alternative endings. He wrote 3 alternative endings to it. So it's not in the film, so there's so much more. I could have made a series out of it, but there were 3 endings. One was very positive, one was very negative ending, and at the other one he got in a fight with his daughter Anna. So I wrote this fairy tale to Anna, and it was like, yeah, she said, she was amazed. She couldn't even remember this fairy tale, and and yeah, that's how she came about that. She said, but the reality was totally different. He made up these fairy tale and these 3 endings, maybe how he wished. The one was how he wished it would be, and the other one maybe how he thought out of his mind, or out of his, yeah, how he saw the reality. But Anna's reality and was different. So that's why it is like a fairy tale. And the sound design, yeah, we it was very hard. First we had a lot of sound design, and every it was very loud, and I always had to tell the sound designer to take a little bit out of the, just that it's very subtle, that you can't do, that you think, did I hear just the gunshot, or yeah, you have to very pay attention, and it shouldn't be like over lying and being so loud in the whole film. So that was a challenge to take back and see how it works and how it feels. Yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, the moment I realized, and this is only after repeated viewings, was how subtle it is and how effective is the towards the beginning, when I believe it's Frauke who's pulling the bow on the dock,
Mhm.
and then she releases it and you hear it. But it
Yes.
also works as a cut, because I think there's something in the narrative, in the voiceover.
Yeah,
It's
you're
just it's
right.
very
Uh-huh. That is when you watch it more time. First, maybe you say, "What? What was that?" But that's you can find and experience more things when you see the film again and again. Yeah.
which, by the way, I strongly urge everybody to rewatch this film. I mean, I think everybody will want to watch it again anyway, just because Because Janna, you do something that that is important, I think, for all of us, which is to kind of to reconnect on a deeper level, not just with ourselves, but and who we are because of our families, but also the shared history that we have, as a family, as a lineage, I would say. And so, just a very casual, short question before we'll have to wrap up. Were there things that you, I mean, I'm sure there were, but can you perhaps share with us some things that you discovered while first of all, while digging through the archives, but also while making the movie? The actual process of interviews.
Oh, is this like I'm a different person before the film and after the film? It did something with me. Working on this film, talking to my mom, the relationship to my mom, to the other people, and to also find out more about Frauke and to really go to this psychic clinic, the psychiatry. And find out more things about her. The whole letter that I read, I didn't know so many things, and it did something. But it also, I feel freer. It made me feel free of the past. I was more caught up in feelings about the family, but now that I really looked at it and talked about it and made a film with the whole essence, I can see more clearly, and it had an effect, and it was a good effect, I can say. Yeah, you had to
I would.
be open for it also, that not to push it away, to face it and go through it. Yeah.
I mean, your mother says this towards the end of the film. Granted, she's describing home, but it's this notion of being totally open to the ineffable. I mean, what is the ineffable essence of existence?
Yes.
You, vis-a-vis yourself, vis-a-vis your family, the world around you.
And that's how I want to live now. Yeah, very open, and in the now. I really was in the past. You can see it in the film. I was working a lot with my own past, and now I want to be just in the here and now, and have, I have more questions to life through the film. It's like the film didn't give me all the answers. It just gave me more questions. Yeah.
Although I will end by saying that I think at the same time, the world as this kind of force of existence perhaps answered the search in the scenes where nature, kind of answers back to what is being discussed on camera. I think those are some of the most powerful moments I've actually seen, moments of reality happening, or just it's magic. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy that you really feel the film and see it. Yeah, you how you interpret it, and how you experienced it.
And this is why I urge everybody to please watch the film again.
And nature is always there. I mean, she's nature looks over us, and then in the end, I mean, things are they're not so important how the little things are, but the nature, it's the all-seeing eye, and the witness of everything, and it will go on. It's a flow of life. Yeah.
And it's always there to, I think, I mean, one thing that I take away from this, well, I don't necessarily take it away from the film, but it's this dominating presence of balance, where one can kind of reconnect and regain balance in one's life.
Yeah.
which is why it is VALCHENZÐ forever.
VALCHENZÐ forever. Yeah. Okay.
Janna, thank you so much. We'll have to wrap it up here, but thank you very much for the film and for taking the time.
Thank you. And I can show you one time the view. I'm here in VALCHENZÐ, and it's snowing right now. See, that's always the view you see in the film. The lake. And winter came back, so yeah, I'm here right now in the setting. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Janna.
so much. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.
Sag, und was bist du denn jetzt?
Eine Fee.
Jetzt bist du eine Fee. Und woher kommst du?
Aus Weichensee. Mama, darf ich dir mal fragen?
Ja, stell mir Fragen.
Ich muss jetzt die ganze Geschichte erzählen.
Ja?
Alles, bis heute. Seit 90 Jahren steht das Café am See. Meine Großmutter war eine ganz stolze Erscheinung. Hat ihr Wirtin-Dasein auch sehr genossen, im Gegensatz jetzt zu meiner Mutter.
Wie war es denn für euch Kinder im Café aufzuwachsen?
Es war keine geborgene Atmosphäre. Dann haben wir halt versucht, unser eigenes Leben zu entdecken. Wir hatten natürlich große Träume. Wir wollten mehr über uns selber rausfinden und über das Geheimnis des Lebens.
Ihr zwei habt 5 Wochen nackt in einer Höhle gelebt.
Ja, wie Adam und Eva wahrscheinlich in etwa.
Es war wie ein schöner Traum, bis mich dann wieder meine Vergangenheit eingeholt hat. Ich habe gedacht, die Zeit bleibt plötzlich stehen. Das waren alles abenteuerlustige Frauen, die vor Lebendigkeit sprühten.
Wo wird man heimisch? Ist es ein Ort? Ist es ein Mensch?